In the years since Skylanders stopped producing figures, almost every Skylanders price has shifted from their original retail price. However, not all Skylanders prices shift at the same rate. Some shift an insane amount in a short amount of time, while others slowly get larger and larger. But today we're going to specifically be talking about the Skylanders who's had their prices have a massive change in a small amount of time. Because in recent years, a lot of new Skylanders that didn't used to be rare have joined the ranks of some of the rarest Skylanders around. And it's kind of interesting to see which one of those used to be cheap and which ones have always just been rare. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. The top 5 most inflated Skylanders figures. To be specific, this is referring from the range of about 2020 to 2021 into the modern day. Which Skylanders have had their prices change the most in that amount of time, you know?
Anyway, I hate to be that guy, but if you're enjoying the video so far, possibly consider hitting the subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So you don't miss out on future uploads. Anyway, with that being said, let's get back into the thing.
Number 5 on the list is Skylanders Swap Force Scratch. And Scratch is weird compared to a lot of the other Skylanders on this list because she was more of a slow burn than a lot of the other ones. At the end of 2020, around 2021, her price started to shoot up because originally she was worth about $20. But then her price started to rise from the beginning of 2021 all the way to modern day. And nowadays she can be found for around $50 to $60 loose. A potential cause of this could be during mid-2021, a lot of people got back into Skylanders. The Skylander community grew a lot, so possibly a lot of people who got back into Skylanders were trying to complete their collection, and so they bought Scratch. But whatever the reason may be, her price has grown a lot since then. Next up is Double Dare Trigger Happy, and I know you guys have been hearing a lot about him lately, but he is one of the most interesting cases on this list, because his inflation has happened the most recently out of anyone, I think. So, not even a year ago, at the end of 2023, early 2024, Double Dare Trigger Happy only went from like $30 to $40, and that was on the high end. However, suddenly, sporadically, uncalled for, this guy's price just shot up to around like $70 to $80 in only a few months from around early 2024 to like May and June. And this guy is one of the weirdest cases because there's not really like a definitive reason people can point to. He just randomly got way more expensive on his own loose. And no one really knows why. Third place is the mini Skylander Breeze. And I know some people might not consider the minis actual Skylanders, but for the purpose of this list, Breeze can be considered a Skylanders figure, which is still basically, one of those people. Either way, Breeze was never really a cheap Skylander. She always, even back in the day like 2020, 2019, she was still going for around $50 to $60, which for one mini Skylander of all things, that's pretty expensive. But weirdly enough, after about 2020, during 2022 and 2023, her price went even higher, unprecedented heights. She went from around $60 to like $120, $130, which I think is crazy for one Skylander. That is a mini Skylander. Just get the original and it's literally the same thing. Anyway though, aside from that, Breeze is definitely one of the most high jumps, because she was already rare, but going from already rare to even rare makes her one of the most rare Skylanders on this list. Number 2 on this list is Echo from Skylanders Trap Team, and this is actually a Skylander I don't own either because of her ludicrous pricing. But let's talk about Echo. Echo was a late wave Trap Team core that almost everybody forgot about back in the day, which already makes her kinda rare. But during most of the mainline Skylander games run, you could find her on eBay for about $30, which to be fair, back then a core only cost like $10, so 30 was still a lot. But by modern day prices, 30 isn't that much. And she stayed around that mark until the beginning of 2021, where she went from about $20, $30 all the way up to an eye-watering $75 about. And that was her average throughout most of the 2021 year. And as her price continued to rise slowly, now you can find her for like $80 to $90 on average, which is kind of crazy. And unfortunately, I still need to buy this Skylander. But either way, she definitely is one of the most inflated Skylanders of all time. And the craziest thing about her is just how rapidly her price shot up. But kind of like Scratch, her price shoot up can probably be attributed to how in mid-2021 a lot of people got back into Skylanders and started buying figures again. Overall though, jeez. Before we go on to number 1, I want to give an honorable mention to the Volcanic Vault. A lot of people in the Skylander community have heard about the Volcanic Vault, and if you don't know, the Volcanic Vault is actually for Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, and all it does is give you a bonus arena, and it doesn't even have a cool figure or anything, it's just like this weird little coin. But the thing about the Volcanic Vault is, it was pretty cheap throughout most of the Skylander games run. It was only about $14, but just like you heard before, in mid-2021, it went from about $15 all the way up to $50. And it's only rose from there in the modern day. You can still find it for $50 to $60, but $50 to $60 for a piece of Skylanders figure that isn't even really a figure and isn't even a Skylander and gives you one bonus stage for a mode nobody plays on the original game that not that many people even play in the modern day, it's kind of ludicrous. And the thing is, I mean, you could say that in 2021 a lot of people got back into Skylanders, so they were buying Skylanders figures, but I mean, not very many people bought Volcanic Vault back in the day. I mean, I guess who knows? Maybe I just didn't know any of them, but still, it seems like a very weird figure to shoot up in price so much. Overall, though, the Volcanic Vault is goofy, And number 1, the one you've all been waiting for, you saw him on the title, ya boy, one of my favorite superchargers, Thrillipede. Everybody loves Thrillipede. He's just an awesome Skylander with a great moveset, and his price went kaput. Well, I don't know if I'm using kaput correctly, but his price shot up. Thrillipede, he is another forgotten about Skylander, I think. During Superchargers, nobody really picked him up, and that kind of led to a chain reaction where later on in 2021, you guys have heard it before, same song and dance, he went from being around $12 to about, you know, $70 by the end of 2021. And it gets kept rising from there. And before you know it, by mid-2020, he's going for like $100. And it's kind of funny because I actually bought an in-box Thrillipede back in mid-2021, and I unboxed him. I'm sorry, but I unboxed him. And I bought that in-box Thrillipede during the rise of his price, because back then I bought it for $40, which is kind of a lot already. But I unboxed him, and I still have him loose, which retained a lot of its value, but imagine how much more if I would have kept him in box. Overall though, Thrillipede has to have had one of the craziest priced jets in Skylanders history, because he went from about $12 to $70 in the course of 2 months, which, wow. And now he is one of the rarest Skylanders around, up there with the likes of Wildstorm and Blackout. Either way though, I hope you enjoyed this video. I just think that inflated Skylanders is an interesting topic because people always talk about the rarest Skylanders, but no one really talks about how those prices fluctuate and when and why. So I was like, what if I made a video about that, mate? And so I did. Next upload is probably going to be my video where I destroy a bunch of Slobbertooths and probably do a face reveal, so stay tuned for that one, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to possibly like and subscribe, and I'll see ya in the next one.